Yeah, the Museum Schnuetgen is going back to the private collection of Alexander Schnuetgen. He was a Catholic priest and member of the chapter of the Cathedral of Cologne. He lived from 1843 to 1918, so in the period when the Gothic Cathedral, which was started in the Middle Ages, was completed. And he built up a large collection of Christian art, mostly medieval, as a private collection. And he donated this collection to the city of Cologne. And then in 1913, the collection Schnuetgen, which was at first an annex to the Museums of Arts and Crafts, became an own museum. There was a reform of the museums of the city of Cologne, and many artworks from other museums entered the Schnuetgen Museum. Many Romanist sculptures from the Wallraf-Richartz Museum that came from the personal collection of Ferdinand Franz Wallraf, who after the French Revolution and the demolition of many churches collected the fragments. And then in 1956, the museum entered in this wonderful Romanist church of St. Cecily, which was at that time recreated as a museum church. And the museum continued collecting. The collection of Alexander Schnuetgen was focused on the Rhine Valley, on Cologne, on Westphalia. But the new acquisitions in the museum after 1956 focused more on the neighbor regions, on France, which were model for Cologne. We have a French cathedral, a French Gothic cathedral in Cologne, on France, on the Netherlands, on Flanders, on Burgundy. And so we have now the collection grows and grows slowly, but with important works of art. Here we are in front of a very important piece of our collection, a large crucifixion group from the Netherlands around 4030, 4040, the period of Jan van Eyck. It is so rare because most of the Netherlandish altarpieces of that time have been destroyed in the religious wars and struggles in the time of the Reformation in the 16th century. And this one survived in a chapel in a little place in France at the Loire. It's a large crucifixion scene, and you see not only Christ and the good thief and the bad thief, but many people witnessing this event. And you have the good centurion who said, truly this was the Son of God. You have Stephaton with a sponge of vinegar. You have Longinus with a lance who opened the side of Christ. And soldiers and other people who are looking to this, who are showing their emotional reactions. And in the center, below the crucifixion, you have the Virgin Mary, consorted by her two sisters, Maria Cleophas and Maria Salome, and Veronica, showing the image of Christ, which she took on the way to the Calvary from him. The only figure that is lacking is St. John, who certainly was behind the Virgin Mary. It was sold in 1960 by a dealer in two different parts. All the male figures have been sold to a collector in the Rhine Valley, Hermann Schwarz, and the women have been sold to another collection in Switzerland. And because also the male figures have a lot of action and you can see a lot, and the female group is a very intense emotion. You can have it as an own artwork. But it belonged together. And in 1965, the male group came to the museum. It was bought but without the women. And it was recognized by the curator of the museum at that time that the mourning women belonged to this original crucifixion group. It was published in a Cologne art journal for a short moment, and then it was forgotten. And around 2010, Sam Fogg found this on the art market, and he recognized that this group is belonging to this altarpiece. And he offered it to the museum, and so we could buy it and complete this. And it's really a sensation, because at that time, the empathy of the beholder is very important, to feel all the emotions, the passions that the people in the crucifixion have lived, to feel with Mary and her sorrow. And so this is the emotional center of the whole composition. And you see in the center the Virgin Mary, consorted by her two sisters, Maria Cleophas and Maria Salome. And on the left, it is Veronica, who is bending down with an image on the linen which she took on the way to the cross from the face of Christ. So you have the confrontation of his living face and the dead Christ on the cross. And it is very important for us to have reunited this group here in the museum. It is very rare. It has its original polychromy, which has not been redone afterwards. And so we are very happy to have this here in our collection. This artwork is placed in a small room devoted to Netherlandish art, Netherlandish and French art of the 15th century, which was very influential for the Rhenish art of that period. And we are extremely happy that additionally to this wonderful altarpiece, we could buy a stained glass window coming from Dijon, which shows the head of a mourning woman, very similar to one of the sisters of St. Mary in the carved altarpiece. And this stained glass window is like a drawing on glass. It is extremely fine and sensitive. It could be in a cabinet of prints and drawings. And it's with a pen and brush strokes, a very delicate modeling of the face, of the emotions of that woman, and the interrelation of the different media of medieval art, stained glass, goldsmiths' works, illuminated books, sculptures, is also very important for our museum. So we are very happy to have this wonderful head from Dijon.